Hey guys, welcome back to the channel. And if you've never been here, welcome to the channel. So today I want to show you this remote desktop software. It is called Anyviewer, as you can see here. Now, right off the bat, I will tell you that this is a paid promotion. This video is brought to you by Anyviewer. They are sponsoring this. They have reached out to me, asked me to make like a little review and or instructional video on the product. I have tested it thoroughly in the last couple of weeks, and so I'm going to show you that today. I'm going to show you how this works, explain a little bit about it, and we'll just take a look at all the features that it has. But yes, just want to let you know it is a paid promotion. I was compensated to make this video. So here we go, guys. Let's take a look at this. This is their main page. It's just anyviewer.com. And as you can see right on the home page, they've got the download here, the download button, or you can buy it. We'll get all into that here in just a second. If we do pop over to that pricing tab up here, this will show you the different plans. You've got completely free, and it is completely free for personal use or commercial use. You got your Pro, which is what Anyviewer gave me, and I really like it. And they've got the Enterprise. So I like the Pro version because if you take a look here, like you can do 2 simultaneous sessions with the free one, which is pretty good. But I work on a lot of computers and I do that remotely, and sometimes I've got a few being worked on at the same time. So the Pro version that they provided to me allows me to do 5 simultaneous sessions, which is kind of cool. The difference also between the free 3 devices, so say in your account, which I'll show you this too in the software here shortly, you have your mom's computer linked in there, your brother's, and one of your uncles, and that's all you can do. You can only do up to 3 assigned devices. Now with the Pro, you can do 10, and this works pretty well for me because I've got my mom assigned and just various other family members and a few friends, so I can service their computers when they need me to. So that allows me to keep more in here. It's pretty perfect for me and what I do. Then of course you can go Enterprise and you can connect up to 10 simultaneous sessions and 100 assigned devices, and etc, etc. So again, the free works for most people. I would recommend going Pro if you're a techie and you do service systems from time to time. This is much cheaper than some of the competitors out there, and so I would jump on these prices. And if you look down here, don't know if this will be here by the time that this video gets uploaded, but they do have these flash sales often, and then you'll get even a better deal than this. So I would definitely go for maybe the Pro or Enterprise version with a good discount there. That seems like a good deal. So with that being said, there are your differences between the free Pro and Enterprise. And if we hop over here to support, it just has some detailed instructions on how to get things going and stuff, which most people probably don't need those. It's pretty self-explanatory. And then they've got a few FAQs down here about, is it free, is it safe to use, which it is. It's very safe to use. And so that's pretty much all that's listed there, guys. Refer back to their website if you need additional help, but I don't think that you will. And we'll get into this and I'll show you how the software works. So once I minimize this, I've got the icon on the desktop here, so I'm going to go ahead and open it up. Now let's start at the top tab up here. This will have your account information, your name, your email address. It will tell you what version you're on. It will tell you how many assigned devices you have. Right now I've only got 2 set up. And then it'll tell you how many managed devices that you have. If you have any questions about what this stuff means, they've done a real good job of providing the little question mark here so you can read a little bit more about it and what it means. So it kind of explains it. And like I said, you pretty much learn as you go, and it's super simple. So just keep an eye out for those question marks if you have any questions on those. Now, If you look down here, it tells you what other devices you can use. Right now, we're using Windows, obviously, but you can also use iOS and Android, which means they have an app for iOS and Android. You can actually use your phone to connect to the devices that you had in your assigned devices list. So you can actually, you leave your house and you're 100 miles away and you forgot that you needed a file out of your computer. Boom, you can use your phone, connect to your computer, grab that file. Piece of cake. All right, so that is the primary tab there with some of your information. If we go ahead and click on Connect, this right here is your device ID. When you set up Anyviewer for remote access, this will be your device ID. Now, as of now, you cannot change this device ID. I wish you could, but you cannot. However, it issues a temporary security code and you can just frequently change this. So for somebody, say somebody fired up Anyviewer and they got a hold of your device ID, they could pop your device ID in there, and if they had your temporary security code, they could connect. So I would just recommend going in here and just recycling that from time to time, your temp security code, and that way they can't do that. Now there are some other options that I'm going to get into that we will show you down below, to where you can actually set your own security code and stuff like that. And so we'll cover that here in just a minute. Now this over here, your partner ID. So say for instance, you go back here, your friend calls and says, hey, I need help. My computer is doing this or that, but you do not have them in assigned devices. Well, you can just have them download Anyviewer, and once they get it installed, they'll get their device ID. Then you can connect or put their device ID in here and connect them and help them. They'll have to give you their security code, of course, but then you can help them that way, and you don't even have to add them as an assigned device. You can help them. Once you disconnect, you're good. You won't be able to connect to them again. So that's pretty convenient in that way also. So let's take a look at device. This shows you every device that you have. Now it's installed on I just called it primary. You can rename these. So I just installed Anyviewer on my primary. And so of course I can't connect to that from my primary. But if I were on my laptop, I can connect to this as long as I'm signed into my account. So next I've got my laptop, which we will connect to here in just a moment. But yeah, once you assign and store devices under your devices, they are available with one click here. And let me show you that. So we look at primary here. If I click properties, it's going to show my IP address, so I'm not going to go click that. And that is all the options you have, because this is the machine we're on. So if I were to click my laptop, let me tell you about what these buttons do. So the one-click control here, you literally click that one time and it will connect to my laptop, which I will show you in just a moment. Now, if you just wanted to view, you would just click here to view the screen of the laptop. If you simply just wanted a file or transfer a file to this device, in this case my laptop, I would just click this, upload the file, and that way I wouldn't even have to get into the computer. I wouldn't have to remote to it. It will just allow me to transfer a file. And these other are pretty self-explanatory. You can lock the device from here, you can reboot it, you can shut it down, and you can look at its properties. And again, we won't click on that because of IP address. So last we have settings, and we'll come back to this part because I'm going to click to and connect to my laptop to show you guys some other stuff and how the software works. So if we click here on settings, here's where you have some really cool options. So let's start with unattended. And so we have enabled one-click connect to assigned device. Now, if you're worried that maybe somebody got your ID, or if you just want to be on the safe side and you only use this like to connect to other systems when you need to, you can actually turn this off. And that will allow the system to not make this open to where you can connect to it. So just be careful with that, because if you're on another system and you're far away and you want to get into your system, if this is turned off, you won't be able to. So just keep that in mind. So for purposes of this video, we're just going to keep that on. And here is where you can set your security code. If you turn that on, you can type in your own security code in there. That way when you connect, that is a code that only you should know, and you can connect easily. But I'm just going to leave it as default for now and just keep that off. So recipient here, and since this is the computer we're on, this is considered the recipient. So kind of like what we saw earlier, you can uncheck this to not allow remote control, and you can allow temporary security code, which is what we saw before. And you can, there's actually a few options in here. You can change the temporary security code at the end of each remote connection, every time the software restarts, or manually, which is what you guys saw me doing earlier by clicking the refresh button right here. That's changing it manually. But you can set it to do these things every time you're done with a remote session, or every time the software restarts, or manually. So I had that disabled. I'm going to just leave that disabled for now because I'm just showing you guys this stuff. Now, controller, you can go in here and change the image quality. To do high quality, I wouldn't recommend that unless both sides have a really good internet connection, because that is why you can adjust the image quality. If one side doesn't have real good internet and one side does, or both of them are just kind of sketchy, if you turn down the quality, it will make the connection a little bit better, because it won't be having to load as much. It won't have to load as many pixels, images, stuff like that. So you'll have a better experience. So if you have a mediocre internet connection, I would just leave it at balanced. I, on the other hand, have a pretty good connection. If you go high quality, you do have to have the pro version, which I do have. So I'm just going to check high quality. You also have the option of hiding the desktop wallpaper. So when you connect to the other system, there will be no wallpaper, and that again saves on bandwidth and stuff like that. And then you can save the security code. And according to this, that means save the entered security code for automatic connection next time. I would probably turn this off. That way it can't be saved at all, and you'll probably just be on the safer side. If we go down to security, you can actually tell this to lock at a certain time, which is kind of cool. If we take a look at that, lock Anyviewer after the main interface is closed. And so once it's minimized, after this amount of time, it will lock the interface, which is kind of a cool security option there. But I'm going to turn that back off. And then you can lock Anyviewer when the local computer is locked. So if you're one of those people that when you walk away, you lock the machine, you can tell this to lock with it. But I'm going to leave that unchecked. And then, of course, basic. I don't really like anything to start when the computer starts, so I turn that off. And then you can go in and prevent this from automatically sleeping, which is a cool option. Back here, you can rename your device. And then you, of course, have the option of changing the language. And if you want to reset everything, just reset all. It resets everything that you've done in here, and you start from square one. All right, guys, with that being said, let's go back here. We're just going to go to connect, and I'm going to show you how this software works. Actually, I take that back. I'm going to device because I'm going to connect to my laptop. So again, guys, we're going to just do one-click control, and you literally only have to click one time. And as you can see, that actually loaded really quick. So now this is the desktop of my laptop. So I use this right here to make it full screen because that's my preference. And then if you wanted to hide this bar up here, if you just got onto your laptop or whatever device to do some work and you don't want to be bothered with this, just use this little up arrow here. It gets it out of the way and you can do your work. But I'm going to show you guys these things. So I'm going to pull this back down. The first thing we see is adaptive, and if you watch the screen, you click this, it does absolutely nothing. Yeah, I think that it actually has to do with, here, let's do this. Yep, there you go. If it's in full screen, it will do nothing. But if it's not in full screen, you can do original, which is this, and then adaptive, which these little borders here. Okay. And then screen, you can actually change the resolution, which is kind of cool. Go over to mode, and this is kind of what we saw before in the settings. You can choose what quality you want. You can choose to hide the desktop wallpaper. And let me show you guys that. So you hide the desktop wallpaper, it'll be just a blank background. And let's uncheck that because I kind of like the wallpaper. And you also have a nice little chat feature. So if you are working on a system, your friend's system or a client or whatever, and you need to relay a message to them, you just click chat. And there you go. You can send them a message and they will get that and they can actually respond back to you. If you're working on something, can't be on the phone, you know, you can kind of communicate back and forth together that way. And that's kind of convenient. This is a really cool feature here that I really like. This is your file transfer. So if you're on one device and you've got to get some files to this other device that you're connected to, this is where you will go. We're going to come back to that in just a second. I'll actually show you how that works. And let's look at operation. This is just your basic stuff. So with the device that you are connected to, you have all these options, and some of these we saw before in the main setup. But you could do Control-Alt-Delete on the remote device. You can lock it, log out, restart, shut down. You can actually get information on this PC. You can open the task manager, or you can actually open the command prompt, which are really kind of cool features to have. And then you've got some other things here, disable the mouse and keyboard of the recipient, which means, and I've been there many times, you're working on someone's computer and they're grabbing the mouse to try to go do something because they forget you're connected to their computer. Well, you can actually click that and disable that. You can actually black the screen, which is different than hiding the desktop wallpaper. When you choose blackout screen on here, it completely blacks out their screen. They don't even see their start menu down there or anything like that. And then you have the option of locking the device when disconnected. So if good example of that is, you know, the person lets you connect to their computer and they say, hey, I got to step away, but I really need this computer locked down when you're done. Well, you can choose this, and then when you disconnect from their device, it will actually lock it down for them. Then when they get back, all they have to do is enter their PIN or their passcode or whatever. So a few really cool devices, or I'm sorry, really cool options right there. And so take a look at those when you get it installed. But let's take a look at this files here. So you go into files, and I've actually set up, I made a zip file with a few documents in it. And so how this works is on this side, you can navigate to wherever a file is that you want to upload. In this case, it's just going to be on my desktop. And over here, it looks like the default already is desktop. So all you have to do is grab the file that you want to upload to that system, and then you'll see the transfer here. So highlight the file, hit transfer, and it does not take long at all. So we can minimize that. And as you see on the desktop now, we have that zip folder. You open it up, there's your files. So as you guys can see, it went pretty quick. Granted, those are just some PDFs with some various text in it. It's really not a lot. And your file transfer is also going to depend on your internet speed. But as you can see, this software actually runs very smooth. I don't have any lag or anything like that on the remote connection. Everything's running pretty good. So again, guys, I would highly recommend this. I really like it. I like the price points. It's way better than some competitors out there. There's one or two out there that are just ridiculously priced, and this does a lot more. Well, not a lot more, pretty much the same as those other ones, but for a lot cheaper price, or even free if that's the option that you want to go with. So when you're done on the system, it's pretty easy. All you do is come down here. There's this little pull out down here to the right. You click that, and then you just hit this stop connection button, and it disconnects you. So you're back on your main system now. So guys, that's pretty much it. It's a nice, smooth piece of software, free of charge, or a very small charge if you want to go the pro route, which I would recommend. Again, let's take a look at that. Not bad priced at all, and if that pops up too, I'd recommend taking a look at that, because 75% off of this is nothing, guys. That's that's going to be a really good deal for you. So it is definitely something I recommend, and let me know what you guys think down in the comments below. Have a good day, guys.